HCS Connects. I'm Kelly Gorel with Hampton City Schools. We have a very exciting show ahead of us today, as it's exciting times in Hampton as we're getting ready to celebrate the anniversary of the arrival of the first Africans to Point Comfort right here in Hampton, Virginia. So I have Alma Dietz, our social studies curriculum leader, with us today, as well as Aaron Firth. Mr. Firth, you are a park ranger with the National Park Service right here at Fort Monroe.
Yes, ma'am.
So we've got a lot going on in our schools and our community, a lot of good things to talk about. But I'm going to start with you, Alma, because our schools are actually within a statewide program, correct?
Yes, they are, and we're really excited to be a part of that because the state program focuses on 5 themes, and one of the themes is democracy, another is diversity, opportunity, innovation, and collaboration. And so as a result, the schools around the state are able to sign up for that, and it is a year-long program. And so I'm really excited to be able to tell you a little bit about that.
Oh, excellent. Well, and you say schools can sign up, so it was basically a volunteer type of piece. And out of our schools here within Hampton City Schools, how many of our schools are participating?
Well, I'm very excited to say that we are the only school division in the state that can boast that we have 32 schools, and every last one of our schools is signed up and is actively participating. So we are so excited about that.
So 100% participation. I mean, that's excellent. And well, we have a lot of things going on though, right at Fort Monroe as well.
Absolutely.
That really does support that program, because we have the statewide level, but we're doing a lot of things locally too.
Well, we're doing locally, but also nationally. The National Park Service at Fort Monroe National Monument has connections directly with 3 different levels of the commemoration of this historic event, not only with the City of Hampton's 2019 commission, but also with the state that Alma was just talking about, but at the federal level as well. And park staff is participating at all levels and taking advantage of all of those opportunities with our partnerships here in the local community and wider as well. But certainly we're very excited about what's happening with the Hampton Public Schools as well.
Well, especially when you think there is so much history around us. I mean, in all honesty, wherever you live, there's some sort of history. But look at this history. I mean, we are the first to have the Africans arrive and have that, and our students realize the importance of that. So in our schools, let's talk about some things that we are doing to celebrate this.
Oh, absolutely. We have taken it to where each of the themes, we're trying to go through each of the themes and do some very exciting projects. For example, in the fall, in September, as part of Constitution Day, which we observe anyway, our students learned about the Constitution and democracy and how it relates to our country. At the elementary and the middle school level, they went ahead and did classroom constitutions, and they learned that sometimes, they make classroom rules, and that sometimes the rules don't always work. So they learned about amendments, and also, how that relates to our country, because sometimes there's things that we have to go back and change. At the high school level, our high schools did a wonderful job, because it's, democracy, voting is what it's all about. And so we did a voter registration drive in which all of our schools participated. So all of the kids are registered, that are eligible are registered to vote, and we'll also go back in the spring and do something with that as well. And then in October, we went ahead and focused on diversity, and as part of our partnership with the Park Service, our 4th graders got to go and tour Fort Monroe.
Yeah, for the last several years, we've been working with Hampton Public Schools to bring every 4th grader in the city to Fort Monroe in the fall to look at the elements that support the standards of learning for that grade level, but also the connections to the site. The National Park Service is a classroom in a different way, but for the same purpose, with public education in terms of a public history standpoint, and our ability to have a natural intersection with our school systems, both public and otherwise in the area, and just the visiting public provides a natural nexus. So we're looking at those specific stories, several of which tie directly into the commemoration that is happening in 2019. And not to quibble of anything, but that it's an important distinction that we also are making sure that we're not celebrating what took place in 2019, 400 years ago in 1619, but we're commemorating it so that it has its right place in the significance of our country. We might perhaps more celebrate all the great, wonderful legacies that have come out of that thing. And it's a great opportunity, especially from the state's perspective of the several themes that they're exploring, and then the new federal commission looking at the more entire breadth of African American history that is a legacy from this arrival point. It gives us a lot of opportunities to shed some amazing stories, both good and bad, so that we can all find what means something for us individually.
So with these field trips or these field experiences to Fort Monroe, was that every fourth grader in Hampton City Schools?
Every fourth grader gets the opportunity to attend, so that's that's amazing for us because they get to see history come alive. And a lot of times our kids don't know, like you said, that history happened right here in their backyard. Sometimes they see it in the SOLs and they see that it happened in another place, and they never make the connection that it's right here in their backyard. So that's why we're really excited to be working with our kids attending at Fort Monroe.
Well, and I love Fort Monroe. That's definitely one of my favorite classrooms. But what kind of experiences are those fourth graders having when they come visit?
Sure. It's a great example of how we can leverage partnerships that we have, not only with Hampton Public Schools, but with our partners on site at Fort Monroe with the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Fort Monroe Authority. We also last year had some assistance through the National Park Foundation and other entities that come in and help us make this available. And not to lengthen it any longer, but volunteers. We couldn't do it without the support of Park Service volunteers and others. So it really is a wonderful collaborative effort. And to answer your question specifically, it is largely a station-style presentation where we divide the kids into 5 groups and look at specific topics that have connections to what they're studying and what we have to offer that fits that bill on site. So looking at early populace on site in American Indian, and then the first fortifications, the arrival of the first Africans in 1619, as well as the contraband story, sort of getting in that arc of slavery at Old Point Comfort over the 242 years of its beginning of its end. And then also looking at some archaeological connections about how we are learning some of these things and what some of those connections are to the American Indian side, and getting an overlook of the grounds themselves from on top of the fort walls to have a sense of the space and why this location was such a crossroads, and putting it in terms of why here.
Right.
Yeah.
What a great experience. I mean, truly. So our fourth graders are not the only students, though, that are participating, in the commemoration or as well as activities with Fort Monroe and with the National Park Service. So tell us a little bit about our other students.
Okay, well, we also have our seniors that also are participating in that in the spring. In fact, they're going through that right now, and so they get the same experience. And then as a result, I don't know if I mentioned this, probably not, but that once they have that experience, then we also participate with our local commission, and they are sponsoring a We Are 1619 essay contest. And so based on the background information that they get there, then they will either produce a piece of artwork or an essay, and it highlights, that although the Africans arrived here under difficult circumstances, they triumphed, and the skills and that they brought here and the contribution that they made to our culture. Mm-hmm. And so we're very excited about that.
We know the National Park Service is very connected with our academies of Hampton as well.
Indeed.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's just another layer of our collaboration on that. And it sort of speaks to what Alma was just talking about in terms of our higher graded students coming in, because it gives us an opportunity to also tweak and adjust to the many layers of the history at Fort Monroe that speak to really what they're specifically studying. And so the same is true on some of our other opportunities. We have a Teachers Advisory Council that we're working with the Phoebus High School Hospitality and Tourism Academy to find ways to tailor some of their project-based learning options that the city is definitely utilizing to make connections to this space and the stories that are here and find ways to do those cross-curricular platform and educational opportunities. And give the teachers an opportunity to have a direct influence in what some of those programs look like and doing some beta testing on site and really helping to develop a new base of educational programs that we can use going forward. And on top of that, there's also a Fort Monroe Stewardship Academy that we have started as well with that same academy, giving an opportunity to expose 8 high school students from Phoebus about the National Park Service and what our mission and goals are, but also the interpretive stories that are happening on site. And this year we're anticipating those 8 students over an 8-week-long summer experience that is a part of the youth summer internship program with the city that's been an ongoing program, but to have a direct operational experience in helping with the visitation and programming that's going to happen across the summer leading up into the commemoration and have hands-on experience interacting with visitors and giving tours themselves and really giving a glimpse into some of what working for the Park Service can be as a potential career opportunity. If nothing else, just a life exposure.
I wish I was back in high school. I mean, gosh, what an
Well, it's never too late to be a park ranger.
Well, okay, well then maybe that's definitely too late for high school. I was actually over at Phoebus and we were, just kind of checking in on some of the different academies and pathways over there, and we walked into the multimedia room and the students had just gotten back actually from Fort Monroe and taking photos or putting together packages.
Absolutely.
And it was just, what a cool thing to see. And to really think, that was not available, those type of opportunities when I was back in school, and how our paths might have changed had those opportunities been there. So that partnership, thank you for that.
Well,
That's
absolutely,
wonderful.
and I can't take the credit for it. It's definitely a collaborative effort from all of our perspectives to finding those opportunities, and that's really what it is. It's the Park Service and the school system too. It's finding opportunities to expose our students to something that could find a relevance and connection to them and expand their horizons. So it really is an opportunity where that nexus comes together, and it's working well.
And I think the partnership is key, because I always like the way they come to us and they ask us, what's going to work for you, what's going to work for your students, because in the end, I'm sure you want not just people from Hampton to come, but from all parts of the world to come. And I think our teachers have their finger on the pulse of, what other teachers would want and what excites students. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, which even perhaps ties into that is the efforts from the Teachers Advisory Council and the project-based learning documents and plans that we're working together also go into the National Park Service educational portal, so that teachers anywhere can go in and find that programming that we've been developing together and be able to utilize it, even if they have no opportunity to visit the site itself. We do create an option so that there's on-site and distance ability to interact with the subject matter. And it's that direct connection that's having an impact, globally with the internet and its opportunities to expand our horizons.
So upcoming events, what's happening soon that we want people to be aware of?
Well, we're very excited because we're going to be participating with the state commission, and they have a We Are Spirit Week. And so as part of that, the students get a chance to answer those questions in history that we want our kids, those big questions, such as, how are we going to, how does the community impact us? How can we make this world a better place? And how do I fit into my local history? And so we're going to give the kids an opportunity, and the teachers are going to help us with this, is a chance to either blog about it, tweet about it, they can do artwork, and then we are going to put it out in social media and then send it to the 2019 commission that hopefully will feature it on their page.
Well, and if you go to their page, they have been featuring a lot of things through Hampton City Schools. So it's been great to follow that, and I know that we're excited to see what the kids are actually going to get out and tweet about, or if they do any blogs. So that's really exciting. And then anything else coming up at all for the spring?
Oh, I would say that there's, in addition to the collaborative opportunities we've already mentioned, there are also a lot of public program options that are happening at Fort Monroe and within the city as well, with our city partners and the Conventions Bureau and the Commission. A lot of great opportunities for a variety of programming that students and families could interact with that are having direct connections to this commemoration effort. And the Park Service itself, its theme for the entire year is looking at 1619 and legacies from. So there's campfire programs and musical programs and talks and tours and all kinds of programming that's going to be happening, from now all the way through the commemoration in August. So you can go to the parks website and the city's commission. There's a lot of great opportunities and the best part about it is it's no money fun.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't cost anything. You just need to show up, and if there's a variety of something for everybody to interact with. So it's a great opportunity for extra effort and opportunity for the students to find perhaps another avenue on their own to bring into some of these collaborative efforts as well.
So we've got a lot going on.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on in our schools, thanks to our teachers and our administrators and our curriculum leaders. There's a lot going on right here at our own national park, our backyard, as well as the city. So very exciting things, and I can't wait to participate. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
And hopefully, we'll have a lot of great weather, that this cold weather will go away, that we can get out and enjoy those good things. And really looking forward to the spring and the upcoming commemoration in August.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us on HCS Connects. In the meantime, stay connected with us. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Jump over to our website or even PEG TV. Thanks, and have a great day.